Hey guys, it's me. I am here to talk to you because I'm going through something. And I think if I'm going through something, I can't be the only one that's gone through it. I think that I might not be the only one currently going through it. And I just want to maybe extend some of myself to you so that you can see it's not just me talking about things. Um, but I'm going to kind of go through a raw process with you right now. This is not scripted at all. I'm having a little bit of a moment, as I think we all do from time to time, right? So here goes. So some of you know, some of you don't know. I've been on my own since I was pretty young. I've been on my own independent, self-sufficient since I was young. Everybody has their moments where they fall and they need help getting up. But for the most part, I've been on my own. I've lived on my own and done for me since I was a pretty young person. And I got into a relationship, a long-term relationship, with the person that I believed was my soulmate, was my best friend, was everything in my life. Especially because I didn't have such a close bond with my family, my blood family. I mean, we're close and we'll talk and whatever, but at that time we weren't regular in each other's life. And so when I got into this relationship, I became consumed with this person. We fell in love. We moved in together. It was beautiful. I mean, we would move furniture around in the house to be able to play games in our living room, to be able to play basketball on the back of a closet door or whatever the case was. I mean, we just had a great time from video games to parties to hanging out and I mean, traveling. We did a lot of things together. But no matter what we did it together, and we did everything together. Um, there was no me without them, and there was no them without me. That's just how that went. And so, in that relationship, I lived for that person. I really just wanted to make sure that, all the needs were met and that our relationship was good and that our house was happy. But you know what? At that time, too, I was young. I was like 21. Oh my God. I'm 29 now. But at the time, like I was 21, 22, we started going through stuff. And, you know, looking back, I realized that I was 21, 22 years old. And I was doing things that I probably shouldn't have done or making mistakes that I shouldn't have made or being careless or thinking I could get away with stuff that I couldn't get away with. Not infidelities, but just other stuff. And, I think that those things at the time I didn't realize, but they were like slowly chipping away at our relationship. And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the person I was with wasn't perfect either, but we made it work and it worked for us for a long time. But then I think because we had such a connection and we had such a closeness and now we had such a routine, a bond, it became hard to break out of that. It became hard to be um, different. It was uncomfortable. It was weird. It was awkward. It was unhappy. Um, all of the above, I think, for both of us. And, we went through some things or whatever, and lo and behold, we are no longer together. We broke up, I want to say, 2009. And for a year and a half, we did the on and off. Come the end of 2010, it was over. But we stayed in each other's life, very, very, very regularly. And that, I think that created a situation where even though we weren't trying to work things out, I still had hope and, we were still in each other's life often and nothing had ever changed. And the friendship, the bond was still there. And, you know, we had the baby. And so, all kinds of stuff was going on, and it was just like, well, maybe now, things will work out. And I waited and I waited, and I never gave up hope. I did not date anybody, so if there's anybody out there in Cyberland who dated me, they can shout out. But no, I did not date anybody because that seems to be a discrepancy. A lot of people seem to think like, wow, you haven't been with anybody, 3 years or whatever. No, I was not. I have not been with anybody in 3 years. I took a year being pregnant of just about, 9, 10 months, and I had a C-section. And then, it took time to, see if something was gonna happen, before I gave up. And then the third year, I gave up, but I also had to get okay with the idea that I gave up, and that didn't happen very very quickly or easily. So fast forward now, because I'm spending way too much time talking about this past relationship. But point being that like I mentioned, we co-parent and have my daughter, and so things tend to be rough because I have to interact on a constant, and I have to be cordial, and I have to be nice, and it's just difficult. I'm a woman, and I thought things were gonna go differently. They didn't, and part of me is still hurt by some of that. Because I hoped that my family would be together. My parents are divorced, and they got divorced when I was like 7 or 8. Well, when they split up initially, and I remember it was heartbreaking for us. Even though we didn't understand, it was heartbreaking, and I didn't want my daughter to have that same experience. Unfortunately, she is growing up in a household where her parents are not living in the same home, which sucks. So that broke my heart. But in any event, today we had a conversation because, as you guys know, I've been sick. I've been getting sick. I got some news recently about a test that showed something that's a little bit questionable, and it's being checked out and measured. I have to have some things done to check that out, and so make sure that nothing is happening or brewing, or nothing's growing somewhere. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous about that. I haven't been feeling very well. I've been tired, and I'm not working. I'm on medication. Like, it's a lot, right? So it's a lot of stuff. Plus, I have a 2-year-old who's awesome. I know you guys have seen her. If you're on my personal page, you definitely have seen her. And if you're on my Instagram, you gotta be blind if you haven't seen her. So, yeah, we had some tough times with communication. And so today, it was time for a visit with my daughter. And then it was time for a conversation. And so we had to have a conversation. And a comment was made to me before the end of the night. And it was something that, as soon as it was said, I was instantly shocked by my reaction. Instantly shocked by my reaction. Listen to these words. I don't like who you've become. I don't like who you've become. I want you to know that had these words been uttered to me a few months ago, probably right before The View, I probably would have crumbled. I probably would have fallen apart and fallen to pieces. I'll tell you why. I lived and breathed for that approval. And even when we weren't together, I did everything to try to make sure that those goals were met, so that maybe it would be enough to come back. And you know what? I surpassed those expectations, because before, yeah, I did case management. I worked with HIV clients. I worked with LGBT youth, homeless kids. That's what I did. That's my field. That's my passion, right? And so that was what I was doing. But afterwards, when I was alone, I became a certified federal therapist. I can do therapy in any of the 50 states now. I won an award for my outstanding professional work and my accomplishments, overcoming adversity, and making a difference in my community. An award I was nominated for. It's crazy. I live on my own. I have the most expensive apartment I've ever had. I pay for it by myself. I don't get any kind of assistance or help. Prior to my secondary business, which I joined in July, I was struggling. I oftentimes had no money. I'm paying a lot of money in rent and bills. I also have a child who eats a lot and needs a lot, and also, requires daycare and clothing at a rapid rate, and shoes and all that kind of stuff, plus the fun stuff, right? Because you just can't clothe her, feed her, and just tell her sit there. So, you know, all of those things. I'm doing all of that by myself with no help. Like, my mom helps me, no doubt. My mom helps with my daughter and stuff like that. You know, she takes, she takes, responsibility for some of my daughter's stuff and helps with that. That's awesome. I'm very lucky to have my mom's support when it comes to my daughter. And then again, like I said, co-parent does what the co-parent needs to do, as far as the co-parent responsibilities, financial, emotional, all that stuff. So that works out. But I'm doing it. Me. It's not about anybody else. I thought, I couldn't manage being sick, being alone, being stressed out with finances, being heartbroken, wanting to start over, wanting to fix things, wanting to get out of my own way, wanting to take advantage of the money that they gave me so that I could start my own nonprofit. I mean, doing so many different things, right? I want to do so many things, but I was letting a situation that's been dead in the ground for years, that has not been deserving of me for years, hold me back. And today, I was told, I don't like who you've become. And I smiled. I was like, what? I was like, you know what? This is my house. And this is where I choose to be comfortable. And I don't want to have this conversation anymore. So if you're done, we can say goodnight. And that was the end of that conversation, for the most part. But, I want to share that with you. Because when I looked back at the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, when I look back at the last 10 years since the day that we met on the train, I want to say that I've grown so much. And I also realize now why I'm getting so much resistance. I talk about people being uncomfortable all the time. I talk about people being uncomfortable all the time. It's okay if they get uncomfortable. It's okay if they feel uncomfortable. You have to do what you have to do for you, because you have to make sure that you yourself are okay. You have to make sure that you yourself can hold yourself up every day so that you can move forward to fulfill what your purpose is. See me? I was so depressed and worried about being alone and worried about not having this one person who I thought was everything, that I lost so much in that time. Time holds everything, and I lost so many opportunities not taking advantage. And now I'm doing something positive. You know how many of you guys have messaged me and have said that I'm so helpful and I'm inspirational and I'm this and I'm that. That's amazing, because I'm just a normal person and I'm going through things, but I'm willing to share them with you. I'm willing to share them with you because I hope that they will help you to realize that you don't go through things by yourself, that you're not the only one, and that there is a way to get up and get out, and that you also will not repeat some of the mistakes that I've made. Because, you know what? Sitting in my bed for 3 years, being depressed, crying, not going anywhere, not wanting to get up, not wanting to comb my hair, not wanting to change my clothes, not even wanting to take a shower some days, not wanting to shave my legs because nobody's going to see them, not eating. Like, you don't know, I wanted to stop breathing. And now, I look back and I'm like, I wasted so much time. And not only did I waste so much time, but I also hurt myself so much. And I spent so much time being angry. And I spent so much time being resentful. And I might be still angry sometimes, and I might still be resentful sometimes, because you know what? I am a work in process and in progress, just like everybody else. So I won't say I'm fully resolved, because I'm never ever gonna be. I think we're all gonna need some kind of work from time to time on things in our life. And children are a big one. But as far as that relationship goes, when I compare where I am now to where I was then, I'm proud of myself, and that's all that matters. And when I look at the person who's judging me, when I look at the person who's talking to me, and I see what they've done in the last several years and I compare it to what I've done in the last several years, I'm still proud of myself and wonder to myself, how dare you throw stones? And I always say, how dare you throw stones? I don't say don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I say, how dare you throw stones? Because how ugly is that of you to make it a point to make comments about somebody's ugliness or about somebody's shortcoming or downfall. What's wrong with you? What's going on in your life that you have to do that? Things to think about. When somebody's going out to make you feel bad, you don't need to let it impact you, because you have to consider the source. Consider who's talking to you. Consider who's trying to make you bad. Make you feel bad. Consider their intention. Consider it. You have to know that you have not been perfect. You have to know that you have messed up on somebody, that you've betrayed somebody, that you've done something, because none of us have been perfect. But you have to also forgive yourself. And if somebody hasn't told you they don't like who you've become or they don't like something that you're doing, know that they might be saying it behind your back. They might say it to your face one day. Doesn't matter. I always say that somebody's opinion of me is not my business. Whatever you think of me, that's on you. That has to do with your perception and what you think. So when somebody has something to say about you, if you respect them, if you care about them, you can consider the source. But in the same way, consider the source. Don't let somebody ugly, hurtful, who's not growing, come at you. Even if you might not be cycling, you might be trying. If you're giving your effort, you're giving your best in whatever it is that you're doing, know that you're better than you were this morning. You're better than you were 5 minutes ago. I feel better than I did when I started recording this audio. This was not pre-recorded. This was not scripted. This was raw. This is my business. But like I said, I share it with you because I want you to know that you're not alone and that there's no reason for you to be alone. And since I went to the View and I experienced the things that I experienced, for me particularly, Marquesetta's hockey skit, or sketch, whatever, they really illustrated an amazing picture which changed a lot for me that day. And then ending up in the hospital and my interactions with Jeanette Gibbler, Johnny Wimbrey, and Ed Blunt, all the different IMDs who text me, and then all of the amazing teammates who text me, it forced me and it catapulted me into this reevaluation mode where I had to reevaluate. Like, if I was planned to go home and sit down and rejot my goals and blah, 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 no. God said, sit your ass down, excuse the expletive, sit your behind down in the hospital. We're going to take care of you. And while we take care of you, we're going to give you the time to think. And we're going to put all these amazing people in your life and in your path, and we're going to force you to do something about it. Because, one, I have a responsibility to Johnny and Crystal Wimby to make them proud. I have a responsibility to my team members on my local up and down line to make proud. I have my daughter I have to make proud, my family to make proud. But I have people to make proud. I have people to inspire. I have a goal that I have to achieve. I have things that I have to give. I have blessings to offer. And I have so much that I want to do. So wasting time on being sad and being, scared or depressed or any of those things is not what's going to happen with me. And so I just want to take the time to have shared something with you to be able to motivate you to move forward in a positive way and to get out of it. If you're going through this right now, if you're feeling bad, if you're dealing with something like what I was going through, feel free to hit me up. You guys don't leave comments, and I understand maybe it's personal for you, but also use this page to network with each other. Use this page to reach out to each other. Inbox each other. If you see that somebody liked the status, like their page, or write to them, or link arms. That's what this is about. I'm one person. I got two arms. However many of y'all could fit here, you got that. You see, I still have my view band on. However many of you can get to me are more than willing to join up with me and link arms with me. Doesn't matter. We're all one family. WV or not, we are still people, and I'm here to inspire you and motivate you to grab onto the greatness that you have inside. Anyway, this is me, Sharice the Beast. I hope you come back. Have a good night.